So I hate holiday and Christmas books, which I know, but call me the Grinch, okay? Because I would rather watch a Hallmark movie than read a Christmas book, but I read 9 of them for this video, and do I regret it? A little bit. But we're gonna talk about the holiday book that I read this year, and there was actually one that I was tempted to give 5 stars, so there's that. But a lot of these books feel reminiscent of a holiday Hallmark movie, and I'd just rather get a hot chocolate and watch the movie happening. The book that made it all happen was Bright Lights Big Christmas by Mary Kay Andrews, and I loved this book. This was the book that I was tempted to give 5 stars, which is crazy. I don't even remember the characters' names, which is why I didn't give it 5 stars, but this is about Carrie, and she is from North Carolina, but she has to go to New York with her brother to sell Christmas trees, and while she is selling her Christmas trees, she meets a single dad and they fall in love, and it's so hallmarky, but it's also good. Like, I can see everything happening, but also it was just good. Like, I loved the dilemmas that happened. It was just talked about how she made do when she didn't have a lot of money, and it was a self-discovery story even though she was in her 30s and she was casually a size 10, and I just loved it. I just loved how casually important things were mentioned, and it felt Christmassy and it felt cute, and I really liked it. So I read this book, I gave it 4.5 stars, and I was like, you know what, I need to read more Christmas books, which led me to The Santa Suit by Mary Kay Andrews, and this one's really short. It's like 200 pages. This book is about Ivy, and she moves into a house. It's an old house that has a lot of history to it, and she finds a Santa suit, and in the Santa suit she finds a letter, and it sends her on this big crazy quest to find the author of the letter, and she falls in love with the guy that sold her the house, and it's cute. It's a cute little book. I gave it 3 stars, and it was cute. So I highly recommend Mary Kay Andrews for holiday books that are hallmarky but are not cringy, and there's really not that much spice to them. So they're like cute Christmas books that you can recommend to your mother. Then the Christmas book that I hear about every single year is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I've only ever read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I didn't love this book. This book is a time loop, and it's also a love triangle with 2 brothers, and I just hate those tropes, and I just didn't like it. So this was about May, and she like keeps reliving the days before Christmas over and over and over again, and it's about 2 families that come together every holiday time, and they're selling the cabin, and she's just trying to get her life together. She's trying to pick the right guy, and it just got so boring. Like, after 50 pages I wanted to stop, but I kept on going, and I think I gave it 2 stars. Okay, next I read Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe by Jenny Colgan because it looks super cute. I wouldn't recommend it. It's the 2nd book in a series, but you don't need to read the 1st one. She has a summary of the events that happened in the 1st one at the beginning of the book for this one, and it was just boring. It was so boring. Like, the writing wasn't quick. At least with In a Holidays, I got through it really quick. I understood what was happening. The writing wasn't really clear to me in this book. It started every chapter with a holiday recipe, like a baked good recipe, so I thought that was really cute. It was boring. The conflict wasn't good. The only thing that I liked about it is that it took place in England, but not even, because half the book they are going to America. I just didn't like it. It felt like a Hallmark movie that wasn't developed. From this point on, it gets a lot better. So the next 2 books that I wanted to talk about are from Tessa Bailey. So we have Window Shopping and Wreck the Halls. I have never read a single Tessa Bailey book, and these books reaffirmed why I haven't read a Tessa Bailey book. They're just filled with smut, and the plot lines aren't really developed well, and it's just really mid. The main characters' names are Melody and Beat, and their parents were in a band together. And the whole premise of this book is that they're trying to reunite the band, but their parents, their moms, hate each other. So some of the things that were written in here were so cringy, and the dialogue is so cringy, and I just, out of my first Tessa Bailey book, I just couldn't get down with it, but my friend who sent me this book said that all of her books are kind of like it, and that's what makes it fun. So if you're into that, if you're into like a ton of smut, you might like this. I didn't. Like, I just like to cry at books, and I guess that's my problem because Christmas books are happy and they don't make you cry. 2 stars for me. Then window shopping, which I actually finished today for this video. It was not good. Like, the dialogue was not good. It would felt like that book. It's a employee boss relationship. I don't even remember their names, and I read it earlier in the day, and at least it was short, and this cover is gorgeous. But it would just smut and use the little plot point as the vehicle for the smut. It's also so short, and their relationship progresses so much through such a short period of time. I just don't get it. I have 3 more books, and I actually really enjoyed all 3. We have A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This book is about an adult film star who gets a role in a movie where it's like a cute little Hallmark movie. That's literally what it is. And the guy that's leading in this movie is an ex-boy band member, and he's kind of on the outcast, and he's trying to reinvent his brand, and she's trying to make sure that nobody knows what she does on the side. So they show up to film this Hallmark movie, and it turns out he is a big fan of her. Like, he knows about her. He watches her. And it's so good. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, because these 2 honestly are pretty much the same as far as spice factor goes, but this one had a pretty good developed plot, which just made me love it. Like, honestly, I think I give it 3 stars on Goodreads, but I'm picking it up to a 4 stars. Like, I had such a good time reading it. Like, it was so stupid and silly, and I just loved it. I just loved it so much. She's also plus size, which added a very cool dynamic to it because of the representation there, and she talked a lot about it, so loved that. I just really like this book. Okay, next we have 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. This book, I picked it up just to like kind of see what it was about. I wasn't planning on reading it, and I read the whole thing in one sitting because that's how good and entertaining it was. So this is about Abby. She has a horrible ex. Like, he is the worst guy I've ever read about, and he dumps her. So to get back at him, she does a ton of stuff to like F with him, but she also started dating his boss because he was always like, oh, you're not good enough for me to take to these work parties. So she started dating his boss, and his boss is like a king. He's great, and you can imagine what happens when they meet up. But tons of smut, but also great plot, but also I just loved it. It was really, really good. So 4 stars. I highly recommend, and it takes place, it happens on Halloween is when it starts, and it ends on Christmas, and it's just good. It's just really fun. Like, this is a holiday book. Love it. And then the last book I have to talk about is Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. This was so good. Like, this is probably like the perfect holiday book in my opinion. It's around 330 pages. It's really, really good. So this is about Molly and Andrew, and they are both from Ireland, and every single Christmas they get on a plane together and they go meet their families, but they actually like met through flying home, so they weren't friends before. And one year they get like stuck at the airport because the weather is horrible, and they're trying to find their way home. So this book is really, really fun because they end up going to Paris and London, and we get to travel with them and just see the development of their plane rides for 10 years, and also just flash forward to the present to where they're stuck. And it's just so cute. Like, this is Hallmark, but also really nicely written, and also just not a ton of spice, and I just really liked it. I did really enjoy this. It was a 4 stars. I wanted to give it higher. I think I give 3.75. It couldn't be a 4 because I didn't really remember like names or specific details, but it's really good. I would recommend this book out of all of these. Probably Mary Kay Andrews, but this is the one that I would recommend. So that was it for this video. I hope that you are now armed with the knowledge of the holiday books that are out there. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.